Hello, hello. Hi there. My name is Casey Pacheco, and this is our series, I Wish I Knew a Nurse. We hope that this series brings a lot of enlightenment, education, maybe even some jokes. Who knows? But before I get started, let me welcome in my co host, Miss Sandra Dingler. Welcome, Sandy.
Hello, Miss Casey.
Hi. It's so happy to have you. Thank you for buying out your time and, most importantly, your experience. You are a clinical case manager. You're actually certified case manager,
Yes,
and you've been a nurse for a long time. And we're just so happy to come together to do this show to help our neighbors out there.
that's right. I enjoy helping others. That has become my mission to help others get through things to get what they need and deserve.
Absolutely. And I am so grateful that you agreed to do this show because today we're going to talk about something that is very, very important. And that is about when you're too poor to pay your bills, but you have too much money, or they say you have too much money and you do not qualify for benefits. We're going to talk all about this because, like you told me, like some people are sitting at home frustrated or stuck because they either don't know what they qualify for or haven't even know, they don't even know the timing of what, when, who signals the application process.
You are so right. So, what I recommend to everyone who is either thinking they need to get Social Security disability or just go ahead and get their Social Security that they have paid into their entire lives, working lives, there is an application process for both. To start with, both things require um, just how many Social Security work credits do you have?
So
For
hold on, Sandy. Wait, hold up. So I'm just thinking because when you turn 65, is that when you are supposed to apply for it? Or like how do you know when you need to apply? Would somebody tell you you have to apply? How does the process work?
well, you can go to your Social Security office and make
Mhm.
sure you have enough work credits. And if they tell you that you don't have quite enough, you could take a part time job and get the balance of what you need and then apply. Uh,
Okay.
that's how you get your Social Security.
How is it some people don't have enough work credits? What are some things that play into that?
So, some people, in fact, many people say you stayed at home with your children and you work taking care of your children, your household. That did not pay into Social Security.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
or if you were doing side jobs, side hustles, we used to call it working under the table. That's
Uh-huh.
the old term.
Uh-huh.
That's when, if you did not pay into Social Security your entire working life, you are not eligible for Social Security.
Wow. Well, that really, because a lot of us are starting our own businesses, we're becoming entrepreneurs. Before, when we were an employee, all of that just got taken out for us, you know. But now as an entrepreneur, you have to pay your taxes, but I don't think we think about paying into Social Security.
Yeah, you have to make an effort to pay into it. And when you have your own business, the employer is you, so you have to pay the entire amount. And everyone has to pay into Medicare, which is separate.
Oh, Medicare is not the same thing.
Exactly right.
Ooh,
The
this is
Medicare tax and Social Security tax.
okay. Okay. And does every job take out both Social Security and Medicare?
There are some jobs that do not.
Okay.
Some contractual jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hire and if they say, this is it's not a W-2
Mm-hmm.
employer, they're just going to give you a statement at the end of the year. That means that they did not pay into it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's like if you're 1099.
Exactly.
Pay into it. Okay. Now, like, okay, so we're talking about seniors, and here they are, and they are needing some kind of assistance, and they go to the office and they say, okay, I'm ready for my Medicare, I'm ready for my Social Security, right?
Mhm.
Will the Social Security office do everything, or like,
Yes, they will. They
okay,
will look up your record. And Mrs. Smith, I see you have 40 work credits, Social Security credits. And so you are eligible. And would you like me to help you go ahead and file? What bank account would you like it to go into? And that's how it's done. That's
okay.
the easy way.
Okay. Now, some people, they go and they are thinking it should be a smooth process. And I think this is really who we're speaking to when they go and then they realize it's not so smooth. It's not easy. They're seeing denied, denied, denied everywhere. And they're about to panic because they don't have the income and maybe they're not able to work anymore. What do they do?
So it's still the same process to start it. They check the Social Security work credits and
Okay.
find out, okay, you have enough. But when you are filing for disability, then you have to go through proof. Proof is only through a doctor who said, so if the doctor says you have a permanent disability, then, and that's all documented in all your records, then they will proceed with the disability.
Okay.
Get
Now,
it?
that's the difference between SSI and SSDI. SSDI is if you cannot go find a part-time job and you have no SSI, you have to do SSDI.
Right.
Okay.
So, what happens with Social Security disability? It's a partnership with whatever state you are in,
Okay.
federal. So first you do federal, and then that opens up the door for whatever your state does. And then that brings into account your income
Okay.
you can get.
So when you say you have to have proof, you're talking about medical proof to show that you have a disability?
Yes, ma'am. It
Now,
has to be a permanent disability. It cannot be that I can't work anymore, and not been to a doctor who says that.
oh, okay. Because that happens to some people. They just think I'm old and I can't work, obviously. But what happens is they go and they're like, I can't work, but they get denied anyway. They get denied for disability. How does a advocate, a patient advocate, help in that sense?
And the advocate and I have helped several people get their disability, and it takes getting the records, getting the person to the doctor, and getting the proof in those records, whatever test the doctor deems necessary to prove that, whatever the reason is, a back problem or whatever it is that makes them not work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've helped other ones with this, cancer treatments, and all kinds of things.
Okay.
Whatever is going on, as long as it's documented, that's making the person not be able to do the job that is in the job description, then that really sews it up there.
Okay. Well, there are some resources within the community that can be helpful to
Mhm.
people. There are some nonprofits. So I know where I am in Florida, there's a government agency called Shine. It's a program under the Senior Connections that actually help people navigate Medicare. I don't know if they do disability, but I'm sure they could point you in the right direction. And then we were talking with a nurse case manager, and she was sharing this allsup.com.
Mhm.
Helps people. It's a free service. I'm sure it's a nonprofit, and I'm just going to share my screen here,
Okay.
Sandy. Um, because what it does, you could go online, and let me go to share screen. What it is you can go online and you can actually they actually help you advocate for your disability. You have a representative. There's a little button if you're eligible, services they provide, how they coordinate benefits. So this is just it's a nationwide resource that you can use. And then, Sandy, I am back. You were telling me that there's a difference with when it comes to advocacy. So, not all patient advocates are nurses.
That's right. So it can be an RN advocate. An RN advocate is a part of case management, a certified case manager. Advocacy is built into that certification, it's part of it. And then because of it's so difficult now with the healthcare system and everything, there are a lot of other advocates that are very good about being the another party to help speak and say the right words and ask the right questions. So you can have really either one. Just make sure you know who they are and make sure that you're not giving out information that it might be a hacker or somebody like that. There's a lot of that going on too. There's ways to check.
Well, I was just gonna ask you. So what I have seen in the community is that you have a lot of elderly people, and they may not um, have access. They may not know how to use the computers, or the forms might be overwhelming, or you won't believe, but some people still don't know how to read and write. So if you, how would someone know if the person that is offering them help is actually legitimate?
Well, I would ask if they have some kind of licensing number or certification with
Mhm,
an organization.
mhm.
Have them give that to you, and then call that organization and check them.
That is what I call due diligence, which I think it's, unfortunately, I had a patient, and he got hacked, a senior citizen. So it does happen. And I think even knowing what to do, you may not have access to the internet, but you can still call and
Yeah,
verify if this person is who they say they are.
exactly.
Mhm.
And I want to add, do not, when somebody calls you and asks for your social security number and your Medicare number, don't idly give that out without checking to see who they are first, because that is how older people are getting hacked.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and so they call you and they need to give a number of their company so that you can verify who they are.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think it happens not just even to older people, but what I've seen is that sometimes, especially people who are very ill and they have multiple doctors and multiple insurance, and sometimes they have home health and home care. It's just so many people,
Mhm.
they get overwhelmed in keeping up with all who they're talking to, and all, sometimes we may not be the most patient to get this information. Do you have any tips or tricks that can help them keep everything together?
Um, keep records of everything. It's okay to use a notebook and just write down every call, who you spoke to, what date and time, and what was it about.
Mm,
That
mm,
way, it really helps you keep up with what is going on and coordinate. Because
yeah.
these days we have to coordinate because sometimes one doctor's office doesn't know what the other doctor's office has is doing.
That's true. That's true. And I'm thinking this is even good advice for people who are managing the care for their parents. Because sometimes the parents, they want to give them the independence, and the parents are making decisions, like they have people coming in, and then also the children might not be aware, so it's nice for them to keep tabs as to who's coming, who's going, and even calling. You might not do it every day or even every week, but like maybe on a month you make sure, okay, I know the names of the nurses from the insurance company, or I know who your case manager is, right? Rather than just, you know sometimes things happen, unfortunately, but we also didn't do our part.
I would like to add, you just reminded me of something.
Mhm.
Sometimes the term case manager can be misinterpreted.
Mm.
So sometimes, like at a facility, they might call themselves a case manager, and what they are is the insurance denial specialist or some other kind of thing where they are only dealing with payment and
Oh,
they are not what we might consider as a case manager looking out for our interests.
okay.
So this can be kind of confusing. Always make sure who is helping you.
So how would you know if you are sensing on this call that this person is not really here to help me? How would you find that person that is supposed to be assigned to help you?
I would ask for a supervisor.
Okay. Okay. Ask for a supervisor. I
Mhm,
I, I think also different, and I don't want to stray too much on
mhm.
filling gaps, but I think on this topic of advocacy, I think it doesn't hurt to find out what in your particular community is available for you in terms of advocacy, because what I have seen is for insurance companies, if you usually whoever is the manager, case manager, is working for that insurance company, or they're working for the hospital, and it's always good to have an independent voice. So I think even just finding out who else is there to speak in your behalf if you don't have one. What are your thoughts on that, Sandy?
I think that is exactly right. And so it is okay to ask whomever you are speaking with, whom are you affiliated with?
Mm.
And if they say they are working for the insurance company, or if they're working for the state, or just find out who they are actually working for, or if they are working for the facility. Uh,
That's excellent.
because you don't necessarily know who they are working for.
Yes, that is so true. And I think we were talking about all the people that you have helped, Sandy, as a patient advocate, as a case manager. Do you have a story you can share, a success story of someone that you've helped and actually saw where they were in this tight situation, they needed income, and they needed to get on a program? Do you have a story?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It, an LPN, a licensed practical nurse who had worked for many, many years, had had many back surgeries, and she just couldn't work anymore. And so she, of course, had paid into Social Security, and she had was okay with Social Security and all that. but she wanted to do disability. So we got all of her records, and sure enough, the doctor had put that she was permanently disabled due to her back. And now here was the clincher. This is really what got her Social Security disability is, and Social Security did ask this question. In her job description, it's as a condition of employment, she had to be able to lift 50 pounds. And the doctor had put in that she, throughout the records, that she could not lift over 10 pounds. And that really clinched it there because she met all the other conditions, and then she did get her Social Security disability.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, good job, Sandy. Excellent. And helping out a fellow nurse. And I think sometimes even just asking someone like Sandy, who loves to read the laws, that but someone who likes to actually read the laws, you can know what you qualify for, because sometimes what we qualify for, we don't even know because we haven't read. Or some of where we live, we may have special programs, but we have not read the laws, so we don't know. And then they deny us and we walk away.
That's right.
You were telling me about Medicare. You were saying you can opt out of Medicare. Is that what you were saying?
So this is an option. When you become eligible for Social Security, that doesn't mean that you have to actually take it then. You can delay the Social Security, but go ahead and take your Medicare. And
okay.
Start with your Medicare, so because you become eligible all at the same time.
Okay.
And so this is pretty common, is you're able to do this. And the longer you wait to get the Social Security, and you can continue working while you have Medicare.
Oh, okay.
And then it continues to build up your Social Security amount.
Oh, if you keep on working.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what I have seen with Medicare is that a lot of people are jumping off of straight Medicare. They're going into the Advantage plans. I know we could talk a whole episode about Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans, but I just want to say that before making a decision, because usually the people who are coaching you into a decision as far as what plan to jump on is the person who is actually receiving some kind of compensation for you to join their plan. So I just want to say this is a really good place for a patient advocate to really, or an external source to really say, is this really a wise move for me at this time? What are your thoughts on that?
I need to add an important point with that. Once you decide to opt out of regular Medicare, which is not for profit, you've paid into it your entire working life. And once you opt out of that and go for a for-profit Medicare Advantage plan, there's no going back.
Oh, you can't go back to just Medicare?
No.
Okay. I have seen some people go back but I think they have to wait.
Yeah. At a certain time period, and usually Medicare will send you a notice. They will tell you that if you don't go back, then it's a permanent change. There was somebody I was helping with, another nurse, and this is exactly what happened to them. They tried to go back, but it was too late and they weren't able to.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be a decision to take lightly. That should be something well researched, and depending on who you are, because for some people it makes sense, but for other people it just really it they get stuck. They get stuck. And we as nurses, we see it, especially in the field in home health care. We see
Mhm.
patients get stuck. I think as far as this is concerned, we're seeing a lot of Americans where they get stuck between not having enough money for benefits and not having enough money for living. So this is why Sandy and I, we took some time to talk about this. But if there is something that you think this was not covered or this should be covered or a lot more conversation around a particular topic should happen, feel free to leave comments down below and we will address it in our future episodes. I really hope this was helpful. Please let us know if this was helpful. I know, Sandy, you have educated me on a lot. So I thank you. Thank you for joining.
And
Um,
you
uh,
for thank you.
I just wanted to say if you had any closing words for anybody who is stuck in this situation where money is tight.
So there's lots of ways to help your budget. And also there's community resources for food and for utilities and things like that to look into. There's all kinds of tips out there. I see them, and anybody that has a question, I'd be glad to answer it as well.
Absolutely. And I just want to say as a closing remark is I think it could be a little demoralizing for people who have worked their entire life and have given tremendous value to be at a point where they are struggling, where they can't work anymore and they have to take action or ask for help. But I just want to say that your value as a senior citizen or as someone who has been disabled is not diminished because of a systematic problem. Who you are is still, you're still valuable even if you can't do what you used to do before. And I just want to say that because it could really, people's morale could really take a hit into not realizing that it's just a structure of the system and it's not who you are. So I would say, I would recommend finding things to do that really like highlights your value to humanity, whether it's volunteering, whether it's like doing like Sandy and opening up your own business based on your specialty, whether it's starting a podcast, mentoring youths, feeding the poor, clothing the homeless, opening up your home for Airbnb. I mean, I can go on, but I'm just saying that you have value and you are valuable and you will be taken care of, even if it might be from a source that you had no idea that you were going to get some money or some help. But just be open and don't shut down and don't close off and don't forget that you are valuable, not by what you do, but because of who you are. Okay, that's a mouthful, but I had to say it.
That's wonderful.
Well, Sandy, I'm gonna wrap up. I can talk, but we will see. I will see you next episode.
Okay. Thank you so much. Take
Okay. Have a good day. Thank you for joining in, audience.
care.